We haven't found it yet. Isn't it interesting? I was just watching that show, that TV show, The Naked Archaeologist. I watch him in the evenings. He's really kind of a funny guy. He's a character on the TV. Just 2 nights ago, he was, I don't know which program it was, but he reiterated this fact that the evidence of absence is not proof of the absence of evidence. Or the absence of evidence is not proof of evidence of absence. Sorry, I got that wrong. Even he said that. And this is a 2008 program. Archaeologists do not say, if we can't find it, this is proof it wasn't there. That is not how they work with this stuff. They say, if we haven't found it yet, we're just simply not capable at this time of finding the evidence. That's all they can do. Now, another issue. Well, William J. Adams, this is in the Journal of Book of Mormon Studies, Volume 4, Number 2, Fall 1995, pages 136, 137. It's free on the farm's website. I'm telling you, I don't want you guys to believe me on this. Please, do not just take my word. I have said that time and again. I insist, I demand you find out for yourselves this information. It's free. You type in FARMS on Google, hit the return button on your computer keyboard, and you'll get right to Farms. You can go right to their Journal of Book of Mormon Studies and look this up yourselves. Please, it is important that you think for yourselves. William J. Adams, Jr., more on the silver plates from Lehi's Jerusalem. He's describing that this is considered one of the 10 most important archaeological discoveries of all time. And it just occurred just a few years back. And the reason why is because we now have religious writing written on metal plates, silver scrolls. We have biblical materials written, and it is the oldest witness to the text of the Bible that we have anywhere in the world. And it was found, and it dates back to Jerusalem, 600 BC. It's a beautiful witness for the Bible, and it is a beautiful witness for the Book of Mormon. 2 birds with 1 archaeological discovery. 2 birds stoned right there. Beautiful article. Please go look this up. Please. Do not take my word for this. Don't trust me. Find out for yourselves. I'm just the messenger. The scholars have done the work. William J. Adams, Journal of Book of Mormon Studies, Volume 3, Number 1, Spring 1994. It's on the farm's website. Go get it. It's free. William J. Adams, this is page 204, 205, 206, where he shows the actual religious text written. The title of the article is Lehi's Jerusalem and Writing on Metal Plates. He describes how Dr. Gabriel Barkay of the Institute of Archaeology, Tel Aviv University, he directed an excavation on a ridge behind modern Jerusalem's railroad station and next to the Scottish Presbyterian Church of St. Andrew. The dig was begun in 1979. That's the year I graduated from high school. And in 1980, the team opened a tomb that dates to the end of the 7th century and the beginning of the 6th, or about 600 BC, and among the rich finds in the repository were 2 small rolled-up strips of silver. Similar artifacts are completely unknown elsewhere in the archaeology of this period. Archaeology discovered something new that it didn't have before at that time. And it's writing on metal of a religious text in Jerusalem dating to 600 BC. Perfect Book of Mormon theme. But this is how archaeology works. Again, go get the source. It's free. No excuse for ignorance. I will not accept ignorance anymore. This is YouTube. You have access to the materials. Truly. I promise. Oh, once more, Journal of Book of Mormon Studies. This is going to be free on the farm's website. Volume 6, Number 1, 1997. One of my favorite scholars, John Twetness. This is on page 73 under Notes and Communications. The workmanship thereof was exceedingly fine. He describes the idea of the sword, the description of a sword in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and how it matches the sword of Laban. And then he describes the comparison with the archaeological discovered sword at Vered Jericho. This is on pages 73, 74, and 75 of the Journal of Book of Mormon Studies. Do not take my word for this, people. Go get it. Google Farms. F-A-R-M-S. All of this material is available. Free. It's a gold mine. The reason I'm bringing this up is because archaeology keeps discovering more information. We now know that when they mention chariots of iron, it wasn't solid iron. We know when they mention metal swords or metal bows, it may not necessarily have been solid metal. On the other hand, we have found swords that are solid bronze. This 3-foot one is a real anomaly to the archaeologists. You would expect they could find tens of thousands of these, but they don't. And the archaeologists themselves are asking themselves, why aren't we finding the remains of these civilizations that are mentioned in the written records? We don't know yet, but we're not done. So this question about the steel bow of Nephi, we know it was very possible. We know there was metallurgy. We know there were steel bows back then. This steel sword of Laban idea, very plausible, very, very realistic. And archaeologically now, we now know they had those kind of swords. So this is not a fairy tale told by the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus. We're talking real history, real archaeology, real remains of real steel swords and composite bows. We're talking the linguistic aspects of these things, even though in some instances we don't have the complete archaeological discovered remains yet. That is not proof that the written record is phony. It's only proof that archaeology hasn't found the remains. And that is how archaeology works. So thanks for joining me on this Backyard Professor podcast, these videos. Thank you much. I hope you enjoyed them. My hat's off to you for spending all this time watching this silliness of mine, but I love this stuff. It's fun to explore archaeology, history, the religious texts, the linguistic materials. It's fabulous. It's awesome. Every time we do, every time we get questions about the Book of Mormon and we take the time to look a little closer at the scholarship and the Book of Mormon text itself, it comes out stronger. It's awesome. We love questions because we like finding answers. Thanks for joining me.